Hello everyone, and thanks for joining me. I'm Joel Nisleit. I run a wedding and portrait photography business in Wisconsin, and this is the first of a series on Photoshop tips and tricks that I hope to show everybody. Just because there's so much to Photoshop that is simple yet can really enhance your workflow and images. So if you want to see any more of my images and stay tuned for upcoming videos, you can check out my website here. Otherwise, for now, let's get into Photoshop, and I'll show you how to do a sort of advanced non-destructive erasing that's a lot better than just the erase tool. So what I'm going to do is create a quick composite by doing a copy here of this image, and I'll just paste that right into this image right here. Do the Control T to get my transform tool, and then a Control 0 to make it go full screen. Let us kind of bring that back down to match the size approximately. Hit enter. Okay, so where does the erasing come in? Well, let me just duplicate this, Control J, so we can see that I want this tree just to be on top, so that'll just make it easier to show you. So if I want to sort of make a composite and blend these images, and let's say I just want the tree to kind of appear in this forest here, what I did was I just clicked the eraser here, and I can just go ahead and erase the parts of this top image that I don't want. And you can see the image that was underneath is coming through. Let's go over here. Okay, so that kind of shows you. Let's just kind of clean it up a little bit. Okay, so now I've just erased part of this top layer. And that's fine if that's all you want to do to this image, if you're not going to go any further. But the problem is, you can undo the erasing if you just click here in the history, and you can go back to any previous state as long as you have the file open. But now there's a couple of problems with this erase tool. Let's say you want to undo one of your earlier brush strokes. Well, the only way to do that is to undo all of the other brush strokes that came after it. So if I want to go back to this third stroke that I made, I have to undo all the ones on top of that first. And then I would have to, well, now what if I wanted to bring pieces back that I already erased? Well, I can't because they're gone. The eraser tool did its job and removed all of that information. And now let's say that I want to do further changes. So I'll duplicate this layer, and I want to just quickly do something else here. I'll just paint black. Let's say I did that. Well, now it's even harder to undo some of the erasing, because in order to undo it, I have to undo the new layer that I just did, and then undo the erasing. See here, I have the black stroke. Now to get back to the erasing, I have to undo that. So that's gone. And now if I want to do something new on top of that, well, that's a new starting point. And I just lost that black brush stroke that I wanted to do. So you can see there's a lot of limitations here with just the erasing. Very difficult to undo, very difficult to preserve a state that you can keep going back to and making changes. So how do we fix that? Well, You see I have over on the right here in my layers palette the two layers, bottom layer and the layer on top of it. Alright, so how do we fix the problem of the erase tool and its limitations? Well, we do that by using one of Photoshop's most powerful tools, and that is the mask. Alright, so the mask is this little button here on the right. It says Add Layer Mask. So I'm going to click that. And see, this little white box pops up on this layer. And that is the mask for that layer. Now a mask is just what it sounds like. It is something that you would hold over the image to block it, or you would remove it to reveal. And so the mask affects the layer that it's attached to, which is this bluish tree layer right here. So the white reveals. So the mask is white, that means it's showing everything on the layer. And the opposite is black, which conceals. And that would hide whatever is on this layer. Black applies the mask, and white removes it. So I'm going to hit D on the keyboard to set my default colors here on the left, and then hit X to switch them so black is in the foreground. I'm going to grab a brush here. I'm going to paint black. So remember that black applies the mask. So watch as I paint here. It's masking out this top layer. I'll do the same on the right here, just to kind of blend this in a little bit. And I'll just kind of go over here and clean up. Okay, so now you can see that the tree looks a little bit more like it's there in the forest. Now, how is that better than the standard erase tool? It looks pretty much the same, right? I just removed stuff and then it's gone. Well, the difference is because it's on a mask, I can always paint it back in by selecting a white brush. Remember, white removes the mask, or it removes the blocking effect that I painted in. So I grab the white brush, and as I paint, I can bring all of that information back in because I'm only affecting the mask layer. You can see over here, if you look at this mask layer, you can see that the black areas show up. Wherever I paint black, that shows up here. So it shows you what's being masked out, and the white is what is not being masked out. Okay, so again, I'll just paint white here just to bring some of the information back. And you can see that now that is preserved as a mask attached to this layer. So even if I go and do something new, let's say I do a curves adjustment layer. So I want to just kind of fiddle with something here with change the brightness. Okay, so I do that, and now that's sitting on top of this mask. Okay, so that's a new action. If I go up into history, you can see that there's the brushing that I did, and then here's the curves layer. So now I couldn't, if this had been the erase tool, I couldn't go back and undo some of the erasing history without undoing this new action that I did. So I'd be losing work again. So now the benefit is if I just want to go back and change some of the erasing again, I'll just go back and click on that mask, and let's say I'll switch to black because I want to remove some more. Okay, and there you go. I can keep going back to that and making changes, and then I can keep going ahead and doing new things. I can even click on here, and I'll undo that again. make another change. And let's say I wanted to go back and change this again. So I'll paint white and bring some of it back. So you can see that you have a lot more flexibility with the mask to erase and even restore information exactly how you want it just by using the brush on this mask here. Now if I were to paint on the layer itself, it would just show up as black and white because you're painting brushing onto the layer instead of the mask. Masking is hiding and revealing. And the other benefit is if I close this file and bring it back, the layers will still be here, so I can still go back and affect the mask. That's if I save it as a Photoshop document or TIFF. However, if I go to the history after I close and open it, the history will not be there. That will be gone. So that's another benefit of having the mask layer here, is that you can, even when you close and open, the mask will still be there and you can still go back and change it infinitely. So that's some of the power of the mask tool and an advanced non-destructive erasing method in Photoshop. So I hope that helps you, and again, thanks for joining, and you can always see more images and information on my website. Thanks a lot.